Today I want to talk a little bit about a stream bot that has a lot of capability for being so underrated. You want it to interact with your OBS or Slobs client directly without any plugins? Done. Do you want to set a variety of actions to channel points redemptions? Done. Do you want the bot that doesn't require any extra account setup? Done. What about a bot that runs on your local machine? Interfacing with your Stream Deck? Done. What about interfacing with Twitch chat, Streamlabs, Stream Elements, Voice Mod, even your own Patreon, Discord, or Twitter? All of that, done. This is a lot to go over, so for the sake of this video, I am only going to cover the basics, as the capability of this is already enough to spice up your next stream. This tutorial will assume you already have the bot installed on the same PC you have OBS installed on, or whatever stream software you use. Now without any further ado, let's get started. Now when you first boot up the bot, you are going to be presented with a few steps to initialize it, like logging into your Twitch account, accepting the terms, etc. It is important that you boot up the bot before you launch whatever stream software you're using, otherwise your streaming software isn't likely to pick up the updated overlays or even redemption for your viewers to act upon. Let's talk about overlays. Ever wonder how people are able to display animated images in OBS when a certain event happens? Let's take channel points as an event example. So for my streams, I have a simple thing that enables viewers to do a channel point redemption that simply just pets my head. Now if I hit the test command, you can see nothing works. Now you see if I hit test command, it does the little pet pat overlay. Now, this little pet pat overlay was inspired by I'm Christian. He's a streamer over on Twitch. I can leave a link to his channel in the video description. Yeah, go check him out. So to make this overlay, first we need to make an overlay in settings. So that would be this little cogwheel here, and you go to overlays. Now you can see I already named a overlay and called it pet, and this is on localhost 8113. Now what I did is I copied this, and I went over here to OBS. For demonstration purposes, we're just going to go ahead and make one. So over here, go and add a browser source. You can name this whatever. Now default OBS launches in 1920 by 1080, so you can go ahead and do that if you want. Otherwise, this should be fine. Yeah, just go ahead and leave that as it is. Go ahead and paste your copied link in the URL, and go ahead and click OK. So now this will appear, and as you see, if we go ahead and just for demonstration purposes, this isn't part of the walkthrough. We go here and we can see the pet. And as you can see, it played on mine as well. So now what you'll want to do is go to the channel points tab and add a new command that responds to the channel point redeem. So channel points, and we're just going to go add command to existing reward. In this case, we will select whatever you wanted to rename your redeem to. In this case, I just did pet me. And how this works is it'll do actions from top to bottom. And in this case, we're going to give it an overlay image and video thing. Go ahead and add that. Action, switch it to image. Overlay endpoints. Switch. Okay, so this overlay endpoint is the pet overlay that we did in settings. It's right here. It's this. That's what you'll want to put right here. Now, the image to the GIF, which in this case is the pet, I have it over in stream package, and it's pet transparent GIF. You want to put the dimensions of that GIF right here. So an easy way to find that out is to navigate to your GIF, in which case mine is right here. Go to properties, select details, and it'll give you right here. So width is 107, height is 109. You can go ahead and exit out of here. So width 107, and the height is 109. Now, the duration is the amount of time you want it to display. I think I have this set to like 5 to 7 seconds, so we'll just do 5. Entrance animation, I have it fade in and fade out. Now, I don't have any visible animation because it's just supposed to fade in and fade out. There's no transitioning to entrance or anything, so I just leave it there. And this will obviously display at the center. Now, if you set this all up correctly, it will look exactly like it previewed in this window here. Let's go ahead and play it again. Now, as you can see, it's kind of small, but you can always resize it. So here, if you go ahead and hit Alt, you can crop it, basically, the window size to your liking. So you can just kind of mess with it. And then once you just have the basics just right around the hand, then you can just like resize it like that. And after that, you just put that over the top of your head of your VTuber model and you should be set. Now, whenever people redeem that redeem, it'll just pet your head. Okay, so something I forgot to mention while I was discussing the overlays is you will need to enable overlay services in the services tab. You can find this in the little hamburger icon, go down to services, and it's the very top one right here. Now what you're going to want to do is just enable this as a basic overlay in OBS. There's no plugins required for it, it just acts as a simple web browser source. And you can go ahead and do a little trick that I do as I just copy this, or sometimes it even opens in a new tab, and I just drag and drop this in the window and OBS just creates one for me. So I don't have to do any extra work there. It's all set up, it's all said and done. And you'll want to make sure that this source is visible in every source that you activate in your streams. Alright, next let's enable communication with your OBS client directly. If you are on Streamlabs, the setup is pretty similar. So what you're going to want to do is find the hamburger icon in the top left, go to services, it'll bring you to this window here. You'll want to enable OBS Studio client connection, in which case you'll want to open the OBS WebSocket installer if you have the latest version of OBS, which it is recommended. You'll want to run this, go through the setup, make sure that it installs in your OBS folder, and complete. You'll want to restart OBS the moment it completes. Now after you're done with that, it'll enable a WebSocket in OBS, and this bot will be able to communicate directly to your OBS client. Now the reason why I don't have a check mark here is because technically I have two instances of OBS open, one that records and one that I'm using to demonstrate this video, and in which everything should work properly over in the other client, which I am hoping. So how this works, how I'm going to demonstrate how this works, is I have a redemption that enables a hamster ball when somebody redeems it. And this basically just makes a source image visible in my sources tab in OBS. So for instance, it's this thing right here. Let's see. Front of the ball, back of the ball. Now these are just two images that are in between my VTuber avatar, where when enabled, it will just appear like this. Let me demonstrate it over in the OBS client that I am currently recording in. And we're going to use the bot for this. So we'll go over here to our action groups. Now this is just a group of actions, basically. The title says it all. So I have it called ball enable. Now if I run this command, you'll see WebSocket connection connected to OBS, and it enabled the hamster ball. Now I have a redemption that has a chance to crack the ball, and we can go ahead and play with this. It'll make some squeaks if it fails, and it'll crack it if it succeeds. And this is just opening another overlay image on top of the hamster ball. And of course, I'm not having any luck breaking free. Now the crack sequence just makes it 100% chance. See, as you can see, it cracked again. And as you can see, it's now destroyed after the third attempt. So we're going to set up an example. We're going to use the action groups as a sort of command sequence to set up our actions. So what we're going to do is we're going to name this just whatever you want to name it. And for this case, I'm going to name it testing sequence. I don't even know if I spelled that right, but we're just going to ignore that. That's fine. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to go to the Actions tab here and go to Streaming Software, OBS or Slobs, and click the plus sign. Now what this is this is the communication for your OBS client. So it would be, let's see, OBS Studio for my instance. If you were using Streamlabs OBS, you'd do this, or XSplit, whatever the case. Now, for my case, I want source visibility, and you want to take this to visible if you're enabling it, or invisible if you're disabling it. Now, this, you don't have to put anything here. The source name is whatever name you put this, like your object in here. So let's say we have, I don't know, we'll just use this screen, for example. We're just gonna disable this screen here when the command runs. So we'll go back to our command editor and we're gonna type exactly right what this says here, which in this case it just says left screen. And that, if I hit play, it will just do absolutely nothing. Okay, so I figured out the problem. The problem was I already had left screen disabled in the instance of OBS that was running when I launched Mix It Up. So what we're gonna do for this case is we're just going to edit this command and we're gonna make it right screen. Since that's the name here, and we're gonna make this, we're just gonna leave this as is because this is going to turn off the display that I am currently recording this video on. So we'll go ahead and hit save and we'll just run the command. Look at that. We're in a dark, deep void of depression. And now that we're back from the void, let's go ahead and take a look at how I set this up. So how I set this up was I have a sequence that just enables the ball, and I give it a special identifier to tell Mix It Up that, hey, this scene is enabled, so if any other action tries to enable it, nothing will happen. And then I have this, which is the ball front PNG, and this here, which is the back of the ball PNG. And as you can see, I kind of sandwiched this in between my VTuber avatar. Now, I have some more special identifiers to determine whether the crack sequence 1 or crack sequence 2 have been called upon. That way, it's not called upon more than once, depending on what actions take place in my stream. And basically, according to those, it disables crack 1 and disables crack 2. This is just mainly to make sure that the source visibility resets. So like if somebody does a redeem again to enable the ball, it just resets the ball. And the Twitch enable redemption just basically ticks it on and off depending on if the ball is enabled or not. Pretty cool stuff. Now, once the ball is enabled, there will be either a crack sequence or a crack chance. So let's take a look at the crack chance, which is a redemption on my stream. So we'll go ahead and see the conditional. So if the ball enabled variable is true, it will run the command ball crack sequence, which is the 100% chance for it to crack. And these are basically just sounds that play if the sequence is not successful, which in this case, 4 selected randomly gives you a 25% chance to, crack the ball. Run on randomly needs to be ticked for any of these to just run randomly. Now the ball crack sequence, this one was a little bit tricky. I had to do the first one in order from the bottom to the top because there really wasn't a way to determine if something was broken or not. So how we did this is we basically checked to see if the ball was enabled, true, or if the ball was cracked on sequence 2, true, then it would play the third shatter. Now the second one, ball enabled, true, ball cracked 2, false. So if this wasn't already played, which this would equal true, and if ball crack 1 was true, so if this one was played, then it'll play crack sequence 2. Now this is a complicated setup that I can't really go into too much detail about because this took me about a week to figure it out. If you guys actually want me to put the assets for this out there, go ahead and leave a comment and I can definitely consider it, especially if you guys are Super Animal Royale fans. This is the redemption that was inspired by that game. Alright, so next we're going to start talking about chat commands. So I have a action group here that basically lets chat control my keyboard when I'm playing a game. Now how I have this set up, this is going to take a little bit to load because there's so many different actions that could happen. So I just set up the action group to check if the command was used in chat. So let's just take a look at one of these here. Let's go ahead and open that up. So if message is equal to !T. So if they wanted to push the T key on my keyboard, then we'll go ahead and go in here. This is the action input keyboard and mouse. So it'll go ahead and tap the key T on my keyboard. I have it waiting for a second and then it will release it. And this is for every letter in the alphabet, plus you got some extras. You got up, down, left, right, click, space, and enter. And these are just basic bare bone controls that, I don't know, chat likes to do sometimes. How you set this up is you go to the commands tab right over here, and I have set up a command and just named it keyboard control. You know what? We're just going to do this for demonstration purposes. Let's see. Keyboard control 2. And auto include the exclamation point because this needs to trigger if the exclamation point identifier is used. Now the action you will want to do is so this is a little bit weird. In order to do action groups, you need to go to command, add this, and then in the command type, you need to select action group and then select the action group that you made. In which case, this would be called keyboard control. And so it'll pass whatever message is triggered in the chat triggers, in which I just put them all in this one single line here, and it'll pass it to keyboard control, and then keyboard control will take action. Another couple commands that I'm in the works of is I have a bit pool command. So what this does is this just tells you the total amount of bits that were cheered in the channel. Well, kind of. People can use these bits in the bit pool to redeem special things. Like for instance, I have this set to redeem the hamster ball. So let's just go ahead and run that test command. Nothing works. Okay, so the reason why nothing works is because in the chat here, you gotta actually send the message here. So in this case, it's exclamation point, bit pool, redeem, ball. And as you can see, it redeemed the ball, and I'm in the hamster ball again, and now I need to go back to action groups, and I need to crack it in the sequence. And there you go. Now this is just a simple command that I am using to interface with the commands that I am also using for the redemption of the hamster ball. A little bit complicated, I can't really go over it in an entire video. Again, if you want something like this, like if you want me to share the assets for this, go ahead and leave a comment about it. I will definitely consider it. But anyway, moving on. So, about the bits command. So you can have basic commands set up. So like if you do a new command that's just a simple response command, so like if you want people to access your Discord, if they type in the Discord command, you can just do Discord and set the chat trigger to Discord, and you want to make sure that the auto include exclamation point is ticked. You'll go in here and you'll select chat message. Go ahead and add that, and then the chat message will just be whatever you want to put here. Discord link. Bam. Look at that. And then if we go ahead and run this command, you'll go ahead and go over here, go to chat, you can see whatever you want to put here, Discord link. And this was, of course, sent by my personal streamer account, and that's fine if you want to do it that way. If you go back to the login sequence in the Mix It Up bot, you'll understand that you can also add a bot account. So like you can make another Twitch account and just name it whatever. It can be your personal bot. You can also make the command send as streamer or send as the bot. It defaults to send as streamer if you don't have a bot account to log into, but you can also enable this to send as streamer. So like as your account, like the account you're logged in with Mix It Up bot as the streamer. Alright everybody, this concludes the video. I hope you enjoyed. If you want to see videos like this in the future, feel free to leave a comment. I also stream on Twitch, in which you can catch my live streams at the link in the description. If you have any questions about the video, let me know in the comments and I will try to respond as quick as I can. Sometimes the YouTube app isn't always the best at notifying me of comments, but I do check regularly. But anyway, I will see you guys next time. Bye!